Hey guys, this is Arun,
And this is Abby.
and welcome back to a brand new episode and a brand new week of Fill Your Pockets. Today's episode, September the 13th. It's a Monday. We had a great weekend of football, great weekend of sports. Football is finally back. Yesterday we got a lot of action yesterday. We'll go over that later on in the episode. But sports are coming back on. So we're branching off into different sports. Before we were just doing MLB, but now we're branching off to college football. We had a few college football plays over the weekend, and also had a few NFL plays over the weekend. Overall, we're looking good for the season. Our record is 32
No,
and no
35.
35 and 24.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, we're looking good. We had three plays over the weekend, including Friday. We ended the week with a straight bet. We had the Brewers money line that hit. They took on the Cleveland Guardians, and the Brewers ended up winning that game 10-3. So Friday, you ended your week nice and strong if you listen to us. So that bet hit on Friday. Not Tuesday, Saturday, we had a parlay bet. We had some college football in there. Hopefully, you guys got this parlay bet in. It was plus 160 odds. We had the Arkansas Razorbacks. We took the spread on them plus 7.5. And we also had the Wildcats, Kentucky Wildcats. Um, so we both parlayed both teams. Ended up winning that plus 160 odds. Uh, that's a great way to start your Saturday. Great way to start your weekend. And finally, yesterday, Sunday, football's back. The first day of the season on Sunday should be a national holiday, in my opinion, because it's madness. But we threw out some plays yesterday. We had like three different plays. The first play was a parlay bet. We had the Panthers money line and the Niners money line. The Panthers took care of business, and the Niners also took care of the business. The Niners took care of the business against the Lions. That was a no sweater. Um, but then we also had another parlay bet, same two teams as before, Panthers money line and the 49ers money line. But this parlay, we threw in the Vikings. Hey man, the Vikings, they should have won this game. It was against the Bengals, but these guys are professionals, and the Bengals aren't too bad of a football team compared to last year. The Vikings ended up losing that game, so we ended up losing that parlay, the second parlay of the day from yesterday. And the last play yesterday, we had my Eagles plus 4.5. Abby, since the schedule came out, he's been all over this game, and rightfully so. If you put money on the Eagles yesterday, you made a decent amount of money. You're probably a rich man, but all in all, the Eagles looking good. I'll go over the Eagles game after Abhishek quickly recaps these plays over the weekend. Abby, do you
Sir.
quickly want to start with the Brewers game?
All right, Arun, that was perfectly done. So far, everyone, I hope you're having a great weekend. I know we are. I hope every football is back. Still got some baseball in there, college football. I love, man. It's just different vibes, man. Just a different vibe.
Yep.
Uh, so let's get into it. Friday, obviously, we had one play with the Brewers. I said it was great value, minus 150 for a Brewers team that's just one of the best teams in baseball. Started off slow. The score was 1-2. No sweat there because the Indians barely score. And then the Brewers scored 6 runs in the 5th inning, and that's all that was needed. Adrian Hauser, once again, 6 innings, was phenomenal. And I don't think there's much that needed to be said. The Brewers, they swept the Indians. I mean, my bad. I keep saying the Indians, the Guardians, and they dominated them. And they pitched great, they hit great, and we won great. Simple as that. Now we get to Saturday. Listen, college football, man. College football is a beautiful thing. You have to take the number one thing that I preached about week 2 was do not overreact to week 1. And that's exactly what happened because people were sucking Texas. OD, Texas is back. Texas is back. No, Texas is not back. Texas will not be back for a very long time. They played a real team in Arkansas, and Arkansas straight up dogged them. That defense dogged them. I obviously for these purposes we took the spread, but I hope people also sprinkle some money on the money line because home underdogs, bro, early on that actually have some promise, you should be all over them. And I think Arkansas was a clear example of that. That game was never close. Arkansas absolutely took advantage of them. Texas wants to go to the SEC. Well, guess what? This is what you're going to be going up against. This is not Alabama. This is not Georgia. This was Arkansas, and they absolutely destroyed them. They ran the ball down their throat. I think they had 300 rushing yards, about that much, and it was a no contest. Then we got Kentucky money line. Kentucky, I love their offense. Levis, he didn't have as great of a game as he had the previous week, but he made some throws. Man, he added a different dimension to them, and plus they didn't really need him. The Kentucky Wildcats ran for 340 yards. 340. They ran the ball down the throat. They had a fumble in the end zone, which basically gave the Missouri Tigers hope. But this game was never close, in my opinion. It became close because of Kentucky's mistakes. But overall, Kentucky showed that they can score. They got to clean that defense up a little bit. I'm going to be honest. They got to clean that defense up. But Kentucky, they got some players. They got an offense, and they could be a very surprised team in the SEC this season. Overall, plus 160 odds. I love it. I hope everyone hammered this play and the parlay hit. And now we get to the king of the crop, the NFL. I understand week one, you got to figure out who's good, who's bad. You got to go through all that. But you can only make your best judgment based off the information you got in front of you. So let's begin. Panthers. First parlay was the Panthers and the Niners. The Panthers took care of business, 19-4. Sam Darnold's revenge game. Sam Darnold looked fantastic. 24 out of 35, 280 yards, and a touchdown pass to the former Jet. Former Jet to former Jet. It was Sam Darnold to Robbie Anderson for, I think it was a 50-yard pass around there, and it was beautiful. Sam Darnold looked great. Christian McCaffrey, there's nothing more to be said about this man. This man is an absolute workhorse monster. I think he's undisputed the best running back in football. Nobody does the amount of stuff he does. He had nearly 100 rushing yards on 20-plus carries, and then he had nearly 10 catches for another 90 yards. He does it all. He is the best back in football, and they missed him dearly last year. They got him back, and they needed him. They needed every yard from him. And that defense, I understand the Jets aren't the best team. They have a very promising future, but the Panthers defense got after the rookie. Zach Wilson looked solid as a rookie, but I say the Panthers defense was absolutely phenomenal. Now we get to the Niners, 41-33. They were up 38-10. This game was over. 38-10. This game's over. And then I don't know what the Niners did. They had 3 turnovers. They had 3 fumbles. They just let Detroit back in the game, and give Detroit credit. They never quit. That shows you that their coaching, their culture, they're building something in Detroit. They didn't quit. They somewhat made an onside kick, and then Deebo Samuel fumbles after getting a first down. It was so many mistake after mistake by the Niners, and Detroit almost came back. But come on, man, I knew they were going to come back. Detroit was going to do something at the end to lose it, and they lost. And Jimmy G looked great, 314 yards passing. Obviously, the Niners, here we go again with the injuries. Raheem Mostert got hurt again. Jason Verrett, unfortunately, towards ACL. That's a huge blow for the defense. And they're already down 2 starters on defense. So now this is just getting worse and worse. This is last year all over again. Hopefully this doesn't continue for them, because you never want to see injuries anywhere. And last thing about this game was, they rushed for 104 yards, and the Niners took care of business as they should have. Then we get to the second parlay, which the same 2 teams, obviously, as I mentioned, but we add my Vikings into the situation. Listen, man, obviously they lost. Titel, I hope these referees, so I hope the NFL, I hope every professional organization finds a way to punish referees when they do this. I'm not saying this as a biased fan. Dalvin Cook, these guys were down 24-7. They came all the way back. They made a 53-yard field goal to go to overtime. They worked their asses off. They did not play their best game. They had over 130 yards in penalties. They did not play their best game. They're playing on the road against Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow came back. Joe Burrow looked fantastic. I'm not going to lie. And then you go into OT. The Vikings stop them. They punt. Vikings get the ball back. They're driving. And then Dalvin Cook's ass is clearly down, and they say he fumbled, and then that was all they needed. And then Cincinnati goes on to kick the game-winning field goal as time expires. Absolute bullshit. You can't be doing this. He was clearly down, and that resulted in a team losing, and it is what it is. You move on, and we take the L. No problem there. I have no problem losing. but at least lose with some integrity. And I think the refs, they took at least 5 minutes to review that play. And in 5 minutes, you couldn't figure it out. All the people, all the announcers said, he's down, he's down. Clearly, those Footlocker uniform wearing people couldn't figure that out. But it is what it is. We took the L there. I took the personal L there as a Vikings fan. It hurt. Oh, it hurt. Arun, you probably know how it feels. It hurts. But now
Yeah,
we
man.
get to the cream of the crop. My play of the year. I've been saying this since the freaking schedule came out. Anyone that knows me knows this. Arun can't touch to this. The Philadelphia Eagles. My man, before Arun goes, I'll quickly sum this up and then Arun can take off. The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, been preaching this man for 2 years now. The Eagles defense, the Eagles offensive line, been preaching it. I don't know what the hell people were thinking with Atlanta. Atlanta are frauds as they've been since that Super Bowl collapse. Matt Ryan, listen, one of the best QBs of our generation. Bro, I think his time is done. He needs to go somewhere else. Calvin Ridley, the first two drives that Atlanta Falcons had, they got shut out in the end zone, and they scored 3 points each, and that was it. They didn't score a touchdown. The Eagles were absolutely fantastic. Devontae Smith was fantastic. Jalen Hurts was absolutely fantastic. And the Eagles, rookie head coach, on the road, statement win. We're here to play. They lead the NFC East. Arun, your thoughts on this game?
My thoughts on this game, man. Let's start off with the Eagles. What a way to start off the season. What a way for Jalen Hurts to take command of the team and lead them to the victory. Yes, he did lead them. Um, I think he has what it takes to carry a franchise, to help a franchise win. I know Abhishek could also vouch for this because this guy has leadership qualities built all over him. And then I know people are gonna say it's the Falcons. The Eagles are gonna get hyped off being the Falcons. Hey man, this is a professional football league. These guys are professionals. That first quarter, that first drive, the Falcons were flying down the field, and
Yes.
the Eagles defense, they were bending, but they didn't break. There happened a few drives were like that where the Eagles got backed up into their own red zone, and the Falcons just couldn't take advantage. You got to give credit to the Eagles defense. That D line is full of savages, full of interchangeable savages. You take Fletcher Cox out. Well, he never comes out, but you take Derek Barnett out. You put Josh Sweat in,
Mm-hmm.
Hargraves in there, BG's in there, man. Oh my God, that D line is one of the best in the league, and I think them or the Washington football team in the division, like those two teams have the best lines in D lines in the division. And the O line yesterday, the O line for the Eagles looked solid. Barely gave up any sacks. I don't think they gave up. No, they didn't give up any sacks yesterday. Jalen Hurts, even though he got pressured a little bit sometimes, he evaded the pressure and made a play happen. And you always want to see that from your quarterback. But all in all, I'm happy with what I'm seeing with the Eagles. And next week we got the Niners, but hey man, we beat the Falcons. Great way to start off the season 1-0. And hopefully we guys won you some money because Abhishek was on this Eagles team since the schedule came out back in the summer. And if you hammered the money line, you are a very rich man this Monday morning. So all in all, I hope you guys bet on the Eagles. But moving on to today's episode. Today's episode, Monday. Hopefully we can start the week strong. Last week we had a great week. So let's get right into it. We got two plays for today. First game of the day, it is a MLB play, 7:10 Eastern Time game. We got the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the New York Mets. Right now, the season series is tied at 2 apiece. The odds for this game is basically a pick 'em. Opened up as a pick 'em. Line hasn't moved since. Abhishek, first play of the day. We got an MLB play. We got the Cardinals taking on the Mets. Who you got, man?
Yeah, Ruin, thank you. That was a great recap of the Eagles game. And yep, we're on to today. Obviously, saying MLB after all that football kind of, irks the people, but it is what it is. We got to find the winners. And MLB, listen, MLB still going on. MLB still got some value. And football, obviously, Sunday's over, Saturday's over. So we'll have Monday Night Football, which is today. We'll have a play for that. And we'll have Thursday Night Football once we get closer to that. But for today, we still have baseball going on, and let's go over this game. St. Louis at the Mets, as Arun mentioned, basically a pick 'em. Um, one more thing. I'm just checking one thing out real quick. All right. Adam Wainwright is going for the Cardinals, and the Mets are going with Rich Hill. Both of these teams are in the playoff hunt. I don't think the Mets gotta put some wins together because they're inconsistent. I will get into that shortly. The Cardinals, they're right back into the mix. They're right there for the playoff spot, so they have something to play for, and that's the number one thing I preach in this situation. Where look for teams that have something to play for, because that will only be an added incentive for their focus, their effort, and everything else going forward. Okay, let's get into St. Louis first. They won 4 out of 5 games. They took care of business against the Reds, the team that was in front of them in the playoff spot. So they did a great job in catching up in the wild card run because they were able to take care of the team that was in front of them. Basically, Adam Wainwright is pitching for them. Adam Wainwright, what can we say about this? Man's nearly 40, if not 40, and he has been one of the best pitchers in baseball this season. He has been by far the reason why the Cardinals are still even in this. Uh, they've won 7 out of 8 of his starts. The Cardinals of his past 8, and in those starts, he has a 1.5 ERA, which is absolutely sensational. He's given up less than 2 runs a game. He's going deep into games. He's pitching 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 9 innings. So he is carrying the load for this team. Now we get to the Mets. This is something that's been interesting, kind of a trend if you want to call it that. They have now won back-to-back games in the past 10 games. They've won, they've lost, they've won, they've lost. They've lost 2 in a row, but they haven't won more than 1 game in a row. They're coming off of an emotional weekend, an emotional game. Obviously, the tragedy of 9/11 took place 20 years ago, and they honored everybody yesterday and Saturday with the Mets and Yankees Subway Series that was being played. It was a hard-fought series. Both teams gave it everything they had. The Mets yesterday, they were up. Then the Yankees came back, and then the Mets ultimately prevailed at the end. So they used a lot of their bullpen yesterday. It was a very emotional game because obviously 9/11, that was one of the most traumatic moments in the country's history, especially for New Yorkers. And I think it's going to be they could be in for a letdown spot. I understand they're in the playoff race still, but after that weekend series and the inconsistency they have going forward, that they've had going on, I think this is a letdown spot for them, especially after yesterday. Sunday night, they played Sunday night, so it's a quick turnaround for them. With that being said, I think also one more thing to mention, Rich Hill, he's the pitcher for the Mets today. He has a 6.0 ERA at home. He's been pretty decent for them, but mostly on the road. At home, he's a 6 ERA, which is awful. The Mets are 3-5 in his 8 starts that he started for the Mets. So obviously that's not great. But the Mets bullpen being used a lot over the weekend, that does not help them. And the Mets, obviously their offense is hit or miss anyways. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I will take Adam Wainwright, who has been virtually unstoppable. He's coming off of just dominating against the Dodgers. If you can shut the Dodgers down, you can shut the Mets down, especially since they need this win. It don't matter if it's on the road. It don't matter if it's at home. This man is absolutely phenomenal. One thing I will say here is the first 5 innings could also be a play in this game because the Cardinals bullpen, man, it's not good. They've blown some games. So obviously Wainwright will go at least 5 innings because he usually goes above 6. But right now, if you look on whatever sportsbook you're using, first 5 innings, the Cardinals are basically the same bet, minus 115. So if you feel uncomfortable with the bullpen, as I do, then first 5 innings could be the play here, or the Cardinals just to win the game outright. That's why you tune into the IG, so we will clarify which side we're taking, but we will be taking this game, and we will be picking the Cardinals in some form or fashion.
All right, moving on to the next and final play of today's episode. It is a NFL play, a football play, Monday Night Football. To cap off week 1, we got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, 8:15 Eastern time game on ABC. You know the drill, man. Come on, Monday Night Football's back. But the odds for this game, The line has moved. Baltimore opened up at minus 300. Right now, they're sitting at 196 minus value. Las Vegas opened up at plus 240. That line since has moved all the way to plus 164. So Vegas is up to something. Abby, last game of week one, Ravens taking on the Raiders, man. Who you got?
I'm gonna be honest here, man. This is one of the most intriguing games of week one. Obviously, week one is basically done. This is the last game. But before the game started, this was one of those games that I'm like, yo, I really don't know what to expect. I know the Ravens are gonna run the ball. That's what they do. But after basically every running back got hurt, I want to see what they do now. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, that man doesn't need anybody to run the ball. He's just an absolute monster. But will the Raiders now pay more attention to him, even though they should have been paying attention to him anyways? But will they pay attention to him even more now because they know that the rookie is going to be basically be the running back? They signed Le'Veon Bell. They signed Devontae Freeman. They signed Latavius Murray. I highly doubt those guys know the playbook. They have any chemistry with Lamar because you need chemistry to run that system. The only guy they have is the rookie. So, obviously, his first game, real game. How is he going to perform under the bright lights Monday Night Football? That's a big ask, in my opinion. I truly believe this Ravens team has gotten worse. Not just the injuries. You lost Marcus Peters. That's a huge loss. He's one of the I'm take this for what it's worth. I'm not saying this as a negative. Marcus Peters is one of the best thieves I've ever seen. This man robs people with his picks. He baits you, he baits you, he baits you, and he takes the ball away. Sometimes he gets got. Sometimes he gets got because, he's playing a little too much towards getting the pick. But most of the time, this man makes the play. They're going to miss him dearly. Marlon Humphrey is still there. One of the best corners in football. But now, you have one less corner on that team. Jimmy Smith, they're listing him as questionable. He's been a consistent player for them over years. Their safeties are adequate, in my opinion. Their linebackers are decent at best. One of their linebackers got hurt in the offseason. I can't remember his name, but I remember he's out for the season. Derek Wolfe, their pass rusher, he's out already. They lost Matthew Judon to the Patriots in free agency. They have a rookie first-rounder playing for them, and they have obviously they still have Calais Campbell, and they signed Justin Houston in the offseason. So I'm going to be honest. I don't think this Ravens defense is going to be that good. I think they'll be okay. And now let's get to the Raiders. They changed basically their entire offensive line. Richie Incognito, the veteran, 38-year-old, he's not going to be playing. I forgot the reason why, but I think he's going to be out. I think he has some sort of injury that came up late. You drafted Alex Leatherwood in the first round. You have Colton Miller, who's been phenomenal for you. And they got two more players that's going to be starting for them. Josh Jacobs, yesterday the news came, 50-50. I think he had some sort of illness. It's not COVID, hopefully, but we'll see about that. Derek Carr, I think, is one of the most underrated QBs. You still got Darren Waller. Darren Waller, one of the top 3 tight ends in football. Henry Ruggs, second-year wide receiver. This man is probably – Tyreek Hill is a monster, but Henry Ruggs can run too. He's probably second up there in terms of speed. They've been hyping this man, Brian Edwards, in preseason. They've been hyping him up in the offseason. All in all, Monday Night Football, Raiders usually start off hot. I understand the Ravens. It's very hard to pick against the Ravens, man. Lamar Jackson. But I think, man, it's just so difficult. So tough. Arun, do you have any thoughts on this game?
Man, when we did that preview, I think last week, I roll with the Ravens, man. I think the Ravens were going to win this game against the Raiders. I don't know about the spread or anything, but I was just going to go with the Ravens. I don't even know if it's going to be a close. This is a very, very hard game, man. Both teams are evenly matched. The Raiders are going to be at home. They're opening up SoFi Stadium. The Ravens on the road, making deep playoff runs every year. So I don't know. I got to go with the former MVP and Lamar Jackson against the Raiders, man.
I can't blame you for that. That's why
I know the injuries kind of scare you for the Ravens, but man, this guy Lamar Jackson, I think he'll do what it takes to just to win the game today. But who you got, Abby? Come on, man, make a play, make a pick.
I'm taking the Raiders, and I'm taking the 4.5.
Woo.
Taking the 4.5. I think there's a reason why this line went down. It's not just the injuries. I actually liked the Raiders before the injuries happened.
Hmm.
I just think the Raiders always start off straight. They always start off great. That stadium's gonna be rocking. Obviously, Vegas. We're gonna see how Vegas, the Raiders fans react to Vegas because obviously in Oakland, those fans were probably the best fans in football. The what's it called? A black hole was insane. Um, I think Derek Carr, one of the most underrated players. They got weapons. John Gruden, he's on the hot seat. That defense, listen, that defense got some play. I think Yannick Ngakoue being there, the former Raven, I think he definitely gave them some intel that could help them. He saw Lamar Jackson in practice every single day as a Raven. I think he may know some things to help them, especially since he plays defense. He may know some things that can help the Raiders here. They still got Clinton Farrell. They got Carl Nassib. They got Corey Littleton. They got Abram. Their corners scare me. But the thing is, the Ravens don't throw the ball. The Ravens aren't a passing team. And their first-round pick, Rashad Bateman, he's out for at least a couple weeks. So I think the corners are their weakness, but the Ravens' strength is not throwing the ball. So with all that being said, I think the Ravens, yes, Arun, I agree with you. Former MVP, I love Lamar. I call him Action Jackson for a reason. This man is a lethal weapon all on his own. Could the Ravens win this game? Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, this game will be close regardless. And if it's a close game, a field goal game, the 4.5 is a key number. And that's why I will be taking, in terms of this show, these purposes, Raiders plus the 4.5. And I truly cannot wait to see how this game unfolds tonight.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for today's episode. Hopefully, you guys have a great Monday. Hopefully, you guys win some money. And with that being said, have a great Monday and happy gambling.